everyone, thanks so much for being here. My name is Kat and I make houseplant videos here on Good and Planty. If you just so happen to absolutely love this video, please consider liking it, commenting, subscribing, or following me on Instagram. All of these things help me grow my channel like a plant. Okay, a fun little trend I've been seeing is people doing ins and outs for the new year. I am a little bit late, but we are going to be doing houseplant ins and outs today, and that's gonna range from actual plants to how I take care of them and trends that I'm seeing, and just my opinion. I want to include that disclaimer there. This is just my opinion. But first, a very special thank you to Luisa for sponsoring today's video. As you all know, I'm a brand ambassador for them and I absolutely love them. I wear them in pretty much every single video, sponsored or not. They're a jewelry company that really prioritizes sustainability, quality, and affordability. Who doesn't love that? The three pieces I want to highlight today are two of the ones in my ear right now. So I have the Michelle earrings. Those are the really pretty gold ones. Those are definitely statement pieces and I love them. I absolutely love hoops and like circular earrings, and this is just like a nice little twist on that. I am also wearing the Hallie opal studs. These are so perfect for, I would say, cartilage or second hole piercings or a very subtle first hole piercing. I am an October baby, so opal is my birthstone. So when I saw these, I knew I had to have them and they absolutely have not disappointed. The last earring I want to mention is the Hannah Liquid dark blue earring. This is a very fun set. They come in a bunch of different colors, but I do have the dark blue version and I think they're really cute and fun, especially since a lot of my clothes are a little bit more neutral. This is a very easy way to add a fun pop of color to any outfit. As we all know, Valentine's Day is around the corner, so if you want to treat yourself or a loved one to a super special gift, you can go ahead and check out Luisa. They are running a 40% off promo deal for Valentine's Day, and they will be linked down below in the description box if you want to check them out. You will also notice that I wear all of my Luisa rings and my cartilages from them, so I'm not bluffing. I really do wear them every single day and I really, really love them. I can't see anyone being mad with an Luisa gift, personally. Thank you so much to Luisa, and now let's get right into ins and outs. We're gonna start things off on a little bit of a controversial note. I gotta reel you in. The first out for 2022 in my book is plant auctions. I understand plant auctions, and honestly, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt because I'm not heavily involved in the plant auction scene, but it is no secret that we have seen a huge rise in plant auctions in plant shops and online plant shops, the whole thing. If you are unfamiliar with plant auctions, that is basically when it's it's a little self-explanatory, but I'll explain it. It's when a plant shop will list a plant, usually a rarer plant, and allow the customers to bid on that plant, and then whoever has the highest bid will win that plant for that price. I think that it's a cool concept because A, it allows the customers to set the price for that plant, and B, it does really help the plant shop out because, you know, you can get more bang for your buck. So I really do understand that. I just think in the current plant landscape, it gets a bit unfair and makes rare plants very inaccessible to people who have lower incomes or just very average incomes, because plant auctions can absolutely get out of control and there will be like a few wealthy plant collectors that can really take advantage of that. So to counter that, my first in for 2022 is plant accessibility, and that can look like a lot of different things. I think as consumers, it really does come down to us a little bit. There are definitely other factors that are at play, but we do have some power, and I think that just really encouraging plant swaps, and if you have a plant that you no longer love and you want to give it away for free or a very fair price, I think that's incredible. I also think we should really discourage people going to big box stores, buying out all of the trending tropicals plants, and then hiking up that price for a plant auction on eBay. All of these things can be shifted in a way that makes houseplants back to a very accessible hobby. Yes, I understand that rare plants will always cost more and that there are economical things at play here, but at the end of the day, I think that we as a houseplant community can really band together and do our best to make plants accessible. If you need the money, you need the money, but if you are able to just spread your little plant wealth, I think that's great, and making the houseplant community a more accessible one would be really, really awesome for 2022, and I encourage all of you to try and take part in that movement. All right, the next out for this year, and this is an actual plant one. So these are plants that I think we should shift away from this year. So the two plants that I think we should abandon in 2021 are palms and fiddle leaf figs. And I know that these are like classics in the houseplant community. I understand that many of you probably have these plants in your home. I think that right now there's definitely a big rise in people wanting large statement plants in their home. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, palms and fiddle leaf figs are really not the way to go in most situations and environments. Palms need a lot of light, and I think they can really thrive best in maybe warmer climates, like if you live on the West Coast, maybe, for example, versus me, I live here in the East Coast. Fiddle leaf figs are gorgeous plants, don't get me wrong, but they are finicky, and I think that they are a go-to for a lot of people just getting into houseplants, and it can really, you know, kill the buzz when your fiddle leaf fig that is large, that you probably spent a lot of money on, is no longer doing well. Obviously, there's a place for these plants in anybody's home if you want them, but I would really encourage these plants that go in the in category. So to swap out those plants, I think that instead of going for a palm, go for a very large Dracaena marginata. They have the same like, what's the word I want? Not fronds, but the same like very skinny puffy leaves that can take up a lot of vertical space, and they are much easier to take care of, and they need less light. They still need light, obviously, and you're gonna get the same wow factor, but the plant is gonna look healthier for a longer period of time. Instead of opting for a fiddle leaf fig, I really encourage you to go for a Ficus benjamina. They are typically a little bit easier to take care of, but on top of that, I think that it's another ficus, so you can still challenge yourself in the ficus genus, but I think it's a little bit of a more unique look at this time. If you've seen my celebrity houseplant videos, you know that I poke fun on the fact that everyone gets a fiddle leaf fig to eat up a lot of vertical space. Opting for a Ficus benjamina could be a fun way to just spice things up a little bit, but get the same effect. I also want to highlight the Ficus umbellata has been on like all of the 2022 houseplant trends, and apparently it's a very beautiful ficus that is way easier to take care of than a fiddle leaf fig. I don't have any experience with that plant, but I've seen it on enough lists where I wanted to mention it to all of you, because while I was doing a little bit of reading for this video, it just kept coming up. If you want to be ahead of the trend, go ahead and go for the Ficus umbellata. Yeah, maybe I need to get one of those. Next out for me, and honestly this has been an out for a long time, it is hanging plants, which might sound a little funny because who doesn't have hanging plants? I definitely have hanging plants. I think that it is setting yourself up for plant neglect, because who wants to take the macrame hanger up and down? Who wants to deal with the dripping and the mess, or getting a ladder, or checking on them? Not to mention that with hanging plants, it's sometimes hard to place them in a way where they get top-down light. So a lot of the times if you have a hanging plant, the top will be fairly bald even if the vining trailing section is doing really well. For me, I am really trying to shift away from hanging plants in 2022, and instead I'm gonna encourage a little bit of a crazy idea. I think just putting plants on the floor is really the way to go. It's definitely a look, like it's not as traditional, as typical as a bunch of hanging plants by a windowsill, but I've seen a lot of creative ways to display houseplants just on the floor, even in 4-inch pots. I'm not talking about a 10-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch fiddly fig in your corner. I'm talking about like putting this on your floor essentially. And I've been playing around with that a little bit, and it definitely takes more thoughtfulness and curation and even like inspiration looking into design. But I think that there's a lot of potential for that to look really good and tasteful. And then not only that, but your plants are probably gonna thrive a little bit better because you are getting top-down light and they are very accessible. They are eye level, so you can see exactly what they need. Yes, this doesn't work as well with trailing plants, but you can always pop a little moss pole in there and encourage that plant to grow up, just as I have with these two plants right here. Honestly, I have seen a lot of payoff. A lot of plants prefer to be staked up. It encourages larger leaves and faster growth. This is what I'm very passionate about, believe it or not. I am done with macrame hangers. Okay, next out for 2022 is scary Facebook groups. Again, this is something that I have avoided for a long time. I have not been an active member on any Facebook group, which sometimes comes as a surprise when I'm talking to local Philly houseplant people. There is something so intimidating about Facebook groups to me. I know that there's a lot of good, a lot of community that comes from Facebook plant groups. I have heard some scary stories about people tearing down houseplant creators, about people just being nasty towards each other in these groups, taking advantage of certain plants. So going back to the plant accessibility issue, I think a lot of that can stem from Facebook groups. I'm sure this is true when you bring together a group of people in any hobby, in any niche, so I'm not targeting just houseplant folk, but I think that houseplant culture does exist, and I just want to highlight it. This used to be a very hot topic for a period of time, and it slowly died back. I know Plant Me Ashley has talked a lot about this. I just want to bring that back up to the surface and remind everyone to be nice, because an in for 2022 is definitely to cultivate a happy, thriving houseplant community. I have really just been enjoying getting to know a lot of you, honestly, in this houseplant community, and just like all of your little words of encouragement mean a lot to me. I try to share my knowledge as openly as possible, as honestly as possible, and you all really reciprocate that openness and honesty really, really nicely. And I just love seeing little pockets of this within the houseplant community. And I think that it's really easy to build if you are active on social media, or if you want to have like a little plant swap with your local community face to face safely with COVID. I don't know, this isn't really a groundbreaking one, and this has been an issue for forever in all hobbies, but I just been reflecting a lot on the houseplant community and what it's meant to me, and how much I want everyone to have a similar experience to me. And I think a little bit of that has to do with the fact that I have never gotten heavily involved in Facebook houseplant groups. No one knows my name really on Facebook, and that's fine with me. All right, last out for 2022, and this might come as a surprise, especially for me, but I think I'm gonna commit to saying this, is overseas plant hauls. I know, let me unpack that a little bit. So it's no secret, if you look on my channel, I've done plenty of unboxings from shops like I'm on the Green Spaces website. I don't know if I'm still there, but my video has been there for a long time. Green Spaces, Aroid Market, there's a few well-known ones, specifically mostly in Indonesia. And the appeal of these shops is that they have access to a lot of the rare houseplants that we seek here in the United States, or I think also in Europe, it's a very similar deal. We can buy really rare houseplants for fairly cheap overseas. It just kind of hikes up the shipping cost, and you have to get a phytosanitary certificate. But even with all those added expenses, usually there is still a financial advantage to ordering houseplants overseas and getting them imported to you. But I'm gonna say this, and I don't know. Realistically, am I never going to get houseplants sent to me from overseas ever again? Probably not, but I just think that we should be focusing more on our local plant shops. And on top of that, I also have had really negative experiences with my plants dying recently, and they were the ones that shipped overseas. With the boom, there just has been a lot more room for error from these sellers, and I have had things be delayed. I have had to pay a lot in import fees. On top of that, the plants usually come in a compromised condition, and it's not always the grower's fault. It's just the state of like even our mailing system, to be honest with you. I would say an in for 2022 is shopping locally and supporting the plant shops near you, or US or like your country's based plant shops, and save you a lot of stress and money. I know how that sounds coming from my mouth when I have supported ordering plants from overseas, because it is really tempting. There is a payoff, but I think if I'm being really honest, I do want to shift my focus to more local things. And I'm down to talk about this more in the comment section. This is something that I'm kind of like going back and forth about. I have a lot of opinions on this. If you want to spark a conversation about this in the comment section, I would be delighted to chat about it in a friendly way. Please no one hate me. Every video I'm like, please. No, you guys are really nice actually, so I shouldn't even say that. Those are my ins and outs for 2022. I tried to have some tea in here for all of you. I really appreciate you all watching. I want to hear your opinions, because I'm sure that some of you may disagree with what I said. Thank you again to my people at Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Please check them out. They will be linked down below in the description box, and don't forget to check out the Valentine's Day deals. I hope you all have an incredible week or weekend whenever you're watching this. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, comment down below, like this video, all that good stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Huge thank you to all of my amazing members. Thank you to O'Neill, Val, Katrina, Audrey, Louie, Heather _B, Jacqueline, Brooke, Daniel, Vanessa, Michelle, Tori, Mary, and Candy. You guys are the best, and I'll see you in my next video.